These are the 3 balance and mobility exercises that I attribute to my ability to stay on the trail as I age. Hey adventurers, Joe Bassett for Valiant Outfitters. I'm about to let you in on probably the worst kept secret on YouTube. I'm old. But being old, for me, is the reason to get out into the wilderness, whether it's hiking, bushcrafting, day hikes, tramping, whatever I'm doing. Being old is a reason to do it, not an excuse not to. Why? Studies have shown that one of the best ways to fight off cognitive decline is navigating chaotic, uneven, unpredictable environments. And, well, you can't get much more chaotic and unpredictable than the nature. In fact, if you go out where you can't see anything made by man, you will find no repeatable patterns, no parallel lines, no perfectly perpendicular lines. It is, by definition, chaos. And the brain having to process all that keeps it nimble. It maintains neuroplasticity. That's why I say that whether it's just simply walking instead of using a golf cart when you play 18 holes, or you get out and you do a day hike, just do some walking on the beach even. Every step is different than the last, and it's changing. It never repeats. Now, along with that, the older I get, the more I have to work at maintaining mobility and balance. A lot of people think that being an outdoor guide at my age is about maintaining strength, and sure enough, that is certainly part of it. I still maintain a cardio program and some light to moderate weight training, but really out on the trail, being a guide when sometimes I might need to double pack it in for one of our guests that just is too fatigued to make it, or always being the one that can encourage others to go that little bit extra, it's going to be more about balance and mobility. About 12 years ago, I also developed some pretty severe plantar fasciitis. It was actually caused by some boots that really weren't the best for my feet. They were fine boots, they just didn't fit my feet well. Using some simple exercises, I can maintain that mobility and stability, and I also use it when I can feel that plantar fasciitis start to creep up on me. Now, it's never been as bad as it was at the beginning. In fact, people told me it would come back over and over and flare up again and again. It really hasn't, and I attribute it to these simple mobility and balance exercises that I do at home, but you can also do out here when you're on the trail. If I feel that plantar fasciitis starting to kick up, I'll just stop by a tree and do these exercises. One of the keys to doing it is ultimately you want to be able to do it with your pack on. But as you're beginning, you might need to take your pack off. But let me demonstrate them for you. So if I'm hiking along and I start to feel a little bit of a twinge back in that IT band or sciatica, or I start to feel that plantar fasciitis kick up, I can just stop by a tree. I can even keep my trekking poles in my hand. And the technique for this one is, I want to pretend I'm picking up a piece of trash or a rag with my toes. That's something we've all done. So I'll take that foot where I'm feeling that twinge of tightness or pain, and I'll curl up my toes as if I'm grabbing that fabric or paper, and then twist it up. And while maintaining balance on the tree, I'll reach down as if I'm going to get that paper. And then I can even squat down and hold that. Maybe for a 5 count, maybe for a 10 count. And then slowly back up. Just for good measure, I'll usually do it with the other foot as well, even if that one's not bothering me. Tighten those toes as if I'm picking up paper on the ground. Flex it up towards me, and then squat down. Hold it. And then back up. If I don't have a tree, I could use my trekking poles, and it's good to hold the poles with the same hand that's on the side of the foot you're going to lift. Scrunch up those toes, and then squat, holding my balance. Now this is a bit more advanced, so if you can get that tree, I'd suggest it. But this really helps take care of that plantar fasciitis, or if you have some sciatica kicking up, hold it, and then you're back on your way. This next one isn't necessarily to take care of an ailment that you're feeling, but it's good to maintain flexibility and mobility in the hip flexors. Again, I'm going to find a tree that's right there near the trail. And this one, Mom, excuse the language, but I want to go ass to grass. I want to squat down with flat feet as best as I can, so my knees are going to have to splay a bit. And I'm going to come down nice and slow. Take your time on this one and get all the way down. And this might even force you to lean forward a bit. And hold it for about a 10 count. And then back up nice and slow. If you don't have a tree, you can do it with your poles. And get all the way down there, because you really want to get those hip flexors opening up. Our joints and our soft tissue, they can flex much more than we give them credit for. We've trained our brain to say, hey, I can't flex that far, but you really can. In some ways, we just need to retrain that brain as we open up those joints and those flexors. And back up, and I'm ready to continue on. Finally, some good old-fashioned lunges, but I'll use my poles for support. Put them out in front of you, and then go to your lunge. Take your time on this. You're carrying that pack still. But I'll lunge and hold, and then back. And when you're lunging, keep that ankle under your knee. I know I said 3, but here's a bonus one for you. And this one comes into that rule of simple isn't always easy. Find a level spot for your foot, or with the toe raised just slightly, but you want it as level as possible, especially left to right. Take your trekking poles and hold them out in front of you in open palms, and notice that I've put the handles at either end to balance this. And then I'm going to lift one foot. And I'm going to start with my right foot that I'm going to lift. And I'm going to hold it off of the ground, balancing on my left foot for a 20 count. Now it's okay if it takes you a few times to get started. Make sure your knee isn't locked. And hold it there for that 20 count. Now it's okay if you don't make that full 20 seconds. If you can only go 5 seconds, do it again and work for 5 seconds. And then maybe try to get up to 6 seconds. And then maybe up to 10 seconds. I find it helps if I focus on a point down the trail a bit. Maybe a blaze that I find down there. And then after that 20 count, go back down, do the other one. Again, if you need a few times to steady yourself, that's okay. But as I said, this one is simple, but it's deceptively difficult, especially with that pack on. It will also help you determine if you've packed well. After your 20 count, take a break. Get your bearings, get set, maybe look around. Enjoy what's out there. Try some soft focus, see if you see some wildlife. And then you're on your way. There you have it. 3 simple exercises for mobility and balance that I use to stay on the trail no matter how old I'm getting. I recommend these for any of our novice or beginner backpackers, people that feel they're out of shape or too old. Practice these at home. Do them without your pack. Then do it with just some pillows in your pack. You could do it with just the pack on, just to get used to it. Put it into just your everyday life. It'll help. And then get out there into the chaos of nature, where you're going to build that neuroplasticity in an environment of wonderful chaos and unpredictability. This is Joe Bassett for Valiant Outfitters. If you've liked this video, please hit that like button. We'd also like you to subscribe so you know every time I come out with a new video. I'm going to start doing more and more of these, targeted specifically to older backpackers and bushcrafters, or those that want to be and think they're too old, because you're not too old. Thanks for joining me for another Wilderness Wednesday.